Joining us now as we get closer and closer to the 2024 NFL Draft, one of the receivers who will hear his name called very early in the process on behalf of Snickers. It is Washington receiver Rome Odunze. Rome, great to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you. We appreciate some of your time. We know you got a lot going on. One thing I did not know when we saw you in Indianapolis, and I think this is really cool, your name, Rome, is actually for Rome, as in the Rome. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, exactly. My pops gave it to me. I think he was really, yeah, I would like to say he's a history buff. I mean, he knows a lot about history that I don't. So, he's a big, researcher in that aspect and knows a lot about the Roman Empire. So I think he, seen a lot of greatness and or a lot of interesting things that they did and thought it was a good name for me. So I love it. I've got compliments on my name, so I like to think it's a good one. But yeah, shout out to my pops. He has a uh creative mind to be able to name me it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great name and it's got a great story behind it. It's not just, hey, I like that word. There's a reason that the name was
Yeah.
selected, and it does sound pretty good as well. And it's going to sound pretty good to hear that name called coming up on draft night on the 25th of April. Give me a number on a scale of 1 to 10, how anxious you are for this process to finally be over with.
Oh, the final be over with. Shoot, probably like at 7, 8. Like I want to be on my team. I want to go train. I want to get, start getting ready for the season. So, this limbo time of not really knowing where I'm at, not really having a home base is tough. So, definitely anxious to get rolling for sure.
How much time do you spend wondering where you're going to end up? I can't imagine having that hanging over my head. This idea that I'm going to find out on a specific night exactly where I'm going to go. And I'm literally going to leave the next day and go there and be there. And that's my new home. And I have no idea where it's going to be. How much time do you spend thinking about that?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so crazy in the fact that, I mean, for me, the way I deal with it, I don't think about it at all. I'm just like, man, wherever I end up is wherever I end up. I think, it'll be God's will wherever he wants me to go and whoever, decides that they want to, draft me. So there's just so many teams. I feel like it's more worth my while to just be like prepared when the moment comes rather than be like, oh, if I go here, then, or if I go here, you know what I mean?
Do you have an idea, Rome, where like the ceiling and the floor will be, like where you're going to be? Okay, here we go. This is it. This is the first one that I think I could go to. And then where's the one where you're like, oh, if I don't go here, something's wrong.
Right. I don't know. I think I visited with the Cardinals, so I like to think that would be like the ceiling. 'Cause I'm pretty confident the first three teams will probably go quarterbacks, just considering their situations. But I don't know. I think four, I think the lowest, I don't know. It's crazy every single year, some of the guys that, are in the green room for long times. And, the story becomes bigger and bigger as they're just waiting and waiting. So I don't know. I like to think locked in as a first round pick, but who knows? Who knows how to end up?
Are you going to be in the green room
Yeah,
in
I'm planning on
Detroit?
going to the, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's an experience in and of itself. And you're right. Every year there's guys that are there for the first night and then they're either back for the second night or they choose not to come back for the second night, depending upon what their mood is after the first night. But you do have to be ready for anything. And it sounds like you are. You got to be ready for anything and everything. We all are as we watch it, but you're going to be living it.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's kind of the mindset that I've had. You just got to be ready for, any situation to have. It's a crazy time, and a crazy draft. So, for me, just being ready for anything for sure.
What's the biggest thing, Rome, that you've learned about yourself through this process?
Ooh, I think that I'm adaptable. I've done a good job of going from phase to phase. Whether it's training for the combine and being ready to train for pro day in case I was doing anything in that, and now flying from team to team and being in the airports, being in hotels. So I feel like my adaptability, if that's the word for it, I hope that's a word. Just being able to go from phase to phase during this process and enjoy it throughout it all.
I can tell you with a very high degree of confidence that it is. And trust me, from dealing with Chris Sims 4 days a week, there are plenty of words he uses that aren't. So I'm very skilled at spotting the ones
Right.
that are. That one is. You mentioned visiting the Cardinals. Where else have you gone over the past several weeks?
I've gone to the Giants, Jets, Bears, and Cardinals. Yeah, I've had four.
Any others still on the docket, or is that it?
That's it for now. Yeah, that's it. Hmm.
So, tell me what you've liked least about all of this moving around and going here, going there, having to become adaptable and learning that you are adaptable. What's been the one thing that you look at and say, yeah, I could have done without that?
Oh, I don't know. I think, sometimes I don't know. I think it's hard for me to go from place to place and like just meet, all these different people. For me, like I'm loyal to the football team that, that drafts me, I feel like, and loyal to, people who are invested in me. So when so many people, are pulling you different ways, I feel like it's so hard to, kind of reinvest in them as they're investing in me. Like, I want to be able to give back to the people who, genuinely believe in me. So, I'll be able to do that once I get drafted. But it's kind of hard to when you're meeting with, combine 13 different teams, flying out to four different teams. So that's a little tough, but just another challenge and part of the process.
In all the years I've been doing this, I never thought of it that way. You start to get to know people, you start to build a relationship, and it's not going to go anywhere unless that's
Yeah.
the team that drafts you. It's this
That,
tentative thing that's just going to end. It's just done. All these relationships you're starting are just done, and they're only going to continue with one group.
yeah, exactly. It's odd. I mean, it's not it's like a, a carousel job interview. It's crazy. And how much they've invested in you, how much they evaluate you, and you kind of do back with them. It's very unique thing for that to just be, come to nothing when you don't get drafted to that team. So yeah, it's odd.
There's been some talk lately about guys having a chip on their shoulder, going through adversity, finding their motivation. Where do you get your motivation? What do you use to get yourself, up in the morning, maybe earlier than you need to be up, work a little harder than you need to work? Where does that come from?
I think it comes from my family. My father and his side of the family are Nigerian immigrants, so they were very hardworking. Worked very hard to put their children and me in positions of success. My mom's side of the family are farmers who did the same thing and worked very hard. So for me, it's just about honoring them and continuing their legacy. And this path that I'm on in life. Giving it my all and doing it to the best of my ability because I know that's exactly what they did to get me into positions that I am today.
How much do you pay attention to any of the pre-draft stuff, the different criticisms that are out there, the different takes, the different rankings that may have some things to say about you that aren't as flattering as you would hope?
For me, it's not something that I really hold a lot of validity in. No one studied my game more than I have, so I know what my strengths, I know what, my weaknesses are, and I know what I need to work on. So for me, I don't really hold any validity in, any of the comments, and I don't take any praise either from anybody, outside of, those who I truly care the opinion of. So for me, it's fun that people can go on there and, debate about it. That's what makes the game great and, fan base great. But some of the takes and some of the different opinions are a little wild for sure.
Give me one thing that's caught your eye that is a misconception about who Rome Odunze is and what his game's all about.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I've seen is like my explosiveness and separation. People look at my contested catch ability and say that I'm making contested catches because I'm always covered, which I don't think the tape says that at all. And I think it's interesting because last year people said I couldn't make contested catches. So I kind of think people kind of on whatever they want to decide to knock me on. So it's interesting, but I don't think that's true at all.
Right, I mentioned at the top of this interview that you're here today on behalf of Snickers, so now is your opportunity to earn that check that you're getting from Big Candy. Big Candy is taking it's big ice cream too, taking care of Roma
Right.
Dunze. Tell us what's going on with Snickers.
That's right. I've been partnering with Snickers ice cream. We've created a limited edition exclusive holder and chiller as well. So that way people can keep their ice cream chilled, they can keep it cold, and make sure they're not dropping it. We talked about my wide receiver play. One thing I do have is sure hands. So we're creating this thing. It's gonna be my hand. And so that way people can, have the sure handedness of the sculpture of my hand to be able to enjoy their ice cream. It's gonna look a little bit like this. Um,
Oh, wow.
strong.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, that's
Yeah.
something.
Oh yeah. No,
That's a big hand. That's a
yeah,
big
yeah.
hand.
Perfect replica. It's perfect replica. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And you can't drop your ice cream because I don't care about the 5-second rule as it applies to anything else. The 5-second rule cannot apply to ice cream. I know there's an old Eddie Murphy bit that suggests otherwise. I will say to you, you've got to hold on to your ice cream. If it hits the ground, it's done.
It's done. It's done. And that's exactly why you need it. And April 18th to May 2nd, you can go get a chance to get this ice cream holder so that exact thing does not happen to you at snickers.com/ice cream chiller.
The impressive giant Thanos hand that Rome Odunze modeled. Be looking for that very soon. One last thing before I let you go.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I mean, I see Las Vegas roots. I see the Raiders with Davante Adams kind of getting up there. I see some comparisons between Davante Adams and Rome Odunze. Would it be foolish for me to think that when pick 13 is on the clock, if you haven't already been selected, you're going to be paying extra careful attention to what the silver and black do?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no, I'm 100% agree. I think, I'm a fan of the Raiders and, being in my hometown, them being the team in my hometown, I'm a big fan already. I'm a very, city where I come from, city orientated young man. So definitely wouldn't mind putting on that silver and gold, learning from Davante Adams. Hopefully they get my boy Penix or something or someone back there slinging the ball as well. So that would be awesome. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we wish you all the best. Congratulations on our success. We'll be watching very intently to see how things work out for you. Hope to talk to you once you are officially an NFL player, and we look forward to getting our hands on Snickers ice cream bar and getting that giant hand on it so I don't drop it. Thanks again, Rome, and we hope to talk to you real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.